Hi, it's Karen Arbutin with RE/MAX. I've had the great fortune to meet with David Johnson of Seminole County, and he is going to tell us about his leadership role with the county and what that involves.
Well, thanks, Karen. Great to be with you today. I am the county property appraiser, and I'm one of 5 constitutional officers as outlined in the state constitution. So each of the 67 counties in Florida has a property appraiser, a tax collector, a supervisor of elections, a clerk of the court, and of course a sheriff. So my job, my role as the county property appraiser is to value, locate all property, both real and tangible personal property, within the geographic boundaries of Seminole County. And then the other piece of the job, which is as important and as big of a job, is to administer any exemptions that are allowed by law from property taxation. The primary one that folks are familiar with is the homestead exemption.
And I'm sure you're very, very familiar with other counties in Florida. How do you feel Seminole County compares to other counties in the state?
Sure. So there are 67 counties. We are the 4th most densely populated, or actually we're the 4th smallest county geographically in the state of Florida, and the 3rd most densely populated county within the state of Florida. And I think people are sometimes surprised by that. Right. Geographically, we're like 320 square miles. We've got almost 475,000 residents. And again, that makes us one of the 13th largest county in the state from a population perspective. So we're fairly large, and again, very densely populated. We have been known over the years and continue to be known for our great school system, quality of life where people want to live. And, certainly we have been more of a bedroom suburban type community.
Sure.
To Orlando. But over the years, we've also diversified our economy quite a bit, where we now have, pretty good business group also within the county.
Yes, everybody loves Seminole County. It's a huge, huge input. The schools, it really is a huge leader, and people love to live here for so many things that you mentioned. Going on to our next question, a lot of our viewers want to know about the past, the present, and the future. Tell us a little bit about the values in Seminole County and what you've seen in the past, what's currently happening now, and what you see in the future.
Yeah, so again, as we've talked about, we're very densely populated, relatively small geographically. So that creates some supply and demand issues, if you will, within the county. As you indicated, people want to live here. It's always been a place that people want to live because of our quality of life and our school system. So what that does to property values and sales for your clients is typically our median sales price is higher than the Orlando metropolitan area in general, and we're one of the highest in Central Florida, certainly, and one of the highest in the state. So from a past perspective, our median sales price was, in the low 300 range, not just a few years ago. Mm-hmm. Today, we're over $413,000 as far as our median sales price. And we're seeing our number of sales for single-family homes continuing to increase over the years. This last couple of months, since about June of 2022, we have seen a decline in the number of transactions, mainly due to interest rates. Mm-hmm. However, the median sales price has not declined at all. And we don't see anything on the horizon that would indicate that would be happening moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Such an interesting fact. I really appreciate you bringing that up, because a lot of viewers are asking that online and both live here. They have questions, and that was one of the questions that I really, really wanted you to expand on. With that being said, you have a really, really busy office. I'm sure you're getting calls left and right. What's the most commonly asked question that people always want to know about?
Yeah, great question. So what we just talked about, the number of transactions, sales that we see coming in and out of the office on a daily basis, yearly basis. Last year we had over 12,000 residential sales within Seminole County.
Right.
What happens is those new property owners are sometimes confused by what they're paying in property taxes versus what the prior property owner was paying. Okay?
Absolutely.
So because of the way the law is outlined in the state of Florida, is once the property sells, if it's a homesteaded property, the value has to be readjusted and reset to market value. So what that does is it sometimes creates situations where neighbors are comparing what they're paying in property taxes with their neighbor, and they can be 2 and 3 times more because of the resetting in value. And again, the resetting in value does not occur until the property actually sells. So if someone's been in their home for 10 or 15 years and the new person just moves in last year, there's going to be a huge differential in what they're paying in property taxes. So the phone call that we get is, there must be a mistake, because my taxes are 4 times as much as my neighbor's. So we have to explain that process and how the values are reset when the transaction occurs. And that's why we depend on real estate professionals such as yourself to help us educate your clients about all the nuances that are out there, because it's complicated. The property tax laws in Florida are somewhat complicated, and it's great that you pass on knowledge to your clients and to your colleagues. That helps us educate our taxpayers also.
Yeah, as a real estate practitioner, that is really, really huge, because we take clients out and somebody may have paid $200,000 or $300,000 for a home, and it's worth now 6 or 7, and they rely on that old tax bill, and then we have to constantly educate them and tell them it will reset.
Right.
And I am going to segue into my next question. Everybody is trying to save money. Who isn't in this day and age? And now the next question is leading into the $1 million question. Everybody wants to know, how could I save on my taxes? What is a great way and a value to bring to the viewers how we could save money for them?
So the most important thing that can happen for your clients, your viewers, is if they are a new property owner, they have to apply for homestead exemption. And what we do in this office is this. About 30 days after the transaction has closed, in other words, the property, new buyers bought the property, the deed has been recorded at the clerk of the court's office, we will send out a postcard to the new property owner, congratulating them on their purchase of their home, welcoming them to Seminole County, but most importantly, driving them to our website, www.scpafl.org, which is Seminole County Property Appraisers, Florida, to go online and apply for homestead exemption. And what a homestead exemption does is this. It does multiple things. First thing it does is it removes $50,000 worth of value from someone's assessment. So right off the top, they're saving $600 or $700 a year in property taxes. That's the first thing it does.
Wow.
The second thing that it does, if it's your primary residence, it will cap or put a cap on how much the value can go up from year to year. In other words, if you do not have homestead, your value can go up multiple percentages. With the Saver Homes cap, it is 3% or the CPI, Consumer Price Index, whichever is less. The Consumer Price Index has been about 8% last year. So it's 3% moving forward. It's the lesser of CPI or 3%. And so if the market in your neighborhood is changing by 15%, you're not going to see that. You're only going to see a 3% rise along with your $50,000 exemption. And that creates huge savings.
Absolutely.
The other thing is, if it's your primary residence and you apply for homestead exemption, and again, we're going to walk your clients and my taxpayers through this process. We're going to ask them, did you live in the state of Florida before you bought this home here in Seminole County, and where was that? And the reason we're asking that question is, you may have savings from a prior home, whether it's in Miami-Dade County or somewhere in North Florida.
I see.
You can move that savings with you from your old home to your new home, okay? And again, that comes off the bottom line, and that can save you tremendous amounts of money. Fun fact, the average, what we call portability, is what I was just talking about, amount for Seminole County is $150,000. So we talked about the $50,000 homestead exemption. You get that
Right.
off the top, no matter what happens. We also have, on average, about $150,000 worth of savings from portability. That's almost $200,000 that someone's not paying property taxes on,
That's
potentially.
incredible.
And again, those are averages. Some people can be a little bit more, a little bit less. But that saves about $3,000 a year in property tax, potentially.
That's
so it's
wonderful.
huge that you go online and apply for homestead exemption.
Right, right. We're here to educate, and that's what we're doing, is bringing value and educating. Any other exemptions, maybe for our fine veterans
Sure.
or other people in the community?
Absolutely. And so there's about 33 other exemptions out there other than the homestead exemption. Obviously, most of our folks qualify for a homestead, and that's the one they're being driven to and to apply for. However, once they apply for that homestead exemption, we're going to also walk them through a series of questions, asking them, are you a veteran? Do you have a disability, whether it was combat related or non-combat related? There are disabilities for widows and widowers, okay?
Wow.
Folks that are widows and widowers. Folks who have physical disabilities that are not military related, there's exemptions for that. So again, we're going to walk them through and ask a series of questions about, what we want them to qualify for everything that they are entitled to. The other thing that's out there that is big, we've got about 7,000 in the county, is what we call a senior's exemption. So if you're 65 years of older,
Right.
and you meet a certain income test, it's about $35,000 a year, there's an exemption from property taxes, not a total exemption, but an additional exemption from property taxes for those folks that qualify for that too. But our goal here in the office is to make sure that we're asking the right questions and getting everybody qualified for everything that they're entitled to, so that they are paying the least amount of property taxes as necessary.
That's wonderful, and we're here to educate. And I really want to thank you for your time. You've really, really extended a lot of knowledge. And if viewers wanted to get in touch with you or your office, what's the best way they could do that?
Sure. So they can email me directly at davidjohnson@scpafl.org. Our website's a great resource. Again, it's www.scpafl.org. On that website is all kinds of contact information. Again, the online application process for homestead, and just general good information about how the property tax system works here in the state of Florida. That's our best resource. And I also know that there are folks that are not as comfortable working in the digital environment.
Right.
So we have live customer service agents here, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. And give us a call at 407-665-7506. And for those folks that are really tech savvy and really want to interact in an electronic way, we have a chat feature on our website too that you can ask questions, and a live chat. So multiple ways of getting a hold of us.
That's wonderful. Thank you for the information. Every time that I've called in, I have been nothing but had the best service and the best customer support. And I just want to thank you for your leadership role and taking
you.
this time with us
Well,
today.
thank you for the opportunity, Karen. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, David.